That box of pasta sitting in your pantry right now might be slowly poisoning your family, and you have absolutely no idea. While you have been trusting these billion-dollar brands to provide simple, wholesome food, they have been cutting corners in ways that should be illegal, but somehow are not. Your trusted pasta might be toxic tonight. We are exposing 8 major pasta brands sold in every grocery store across America, brands your family has been eating for years. And I am warning you, what we found is going to make you check every box in your pantry tonight. Because some of these ingredients and manufacturing practices are genuinely disturbing. We are talking about heavy metal contamination, pesticide residues, and ingredients banned in other countries but perfectly legal here in the United States. We are talking about companies that claim their pasta is healthy and natural, while hiding processes that strip away nutrition and add chemicals you cannot even pronounce. Ingredients banned in other countries. Stick around until the end because I am going to tell you the specific pasta brands you can actually trust, the ones that are not trying to maximize profits by sacrificing your family's health. But first, you need to know which brands to avoid immediately. But before we dive into the shocking details, if you care about what you are feeding your family and want to stay informed about the food in your pantry, hit that subscribe button. Because these pasta companies are betting on you not reading labels or asking questions. Let us prove them wrong. Brand 1. Barilla. Let me start with the biggest name in American pasta. Barilla dominates grocery store shelves with their blue boxes and Italian heritage marketing. They want you to believe you are buying authentic Italian quality. But the reality is very different from the image they sell. Barilla pasta sold in the United States is not made in Italy. It is manufactured in Iowa and New York using American wheat. That is not necessarily bad, except Barilla charges premium prices based on their Italian reputation while using the same industrial processes as budget brands. Premium prices for industrial processes. But here is where it gets concerning. Independent laboratory testing found glyphosate residues in multiple Barilla pasta products. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer. The chemical is classified as a probable human carcinogen by international health organizations. And it is showing up in pasta you feed your kids. Barilla claims the glyphosate levels are within legal limits. But here's what they do not tell you. The United States has much higher allowable glyphosate limits than Europe. Pasta that is legally sold here would be banned in Italy, the country Barilla built their reputation on. The irony is devastating. Banned in Italy but sold in America, former Barilla employees report that the company sources wheat from industrial farms using conventional farming methods heavy with pesticides and herbicides. The wheat is then processed using high heat and pressure that destroys much of the natural nutrition. What you are left with is a nutritionally depleted product with chemical residues. Testing also found cadmium, a toxic heavy metal, in some Barilla products at levels concerning to food safety experts. Cadmium accumulates in the body over time and can cause kidney damage, bone loss, and other serious health problems. Eating contaminated pasta regularly means exposing your family to cumulative toxin buildup. Heavy metals found in testing. The company faced backlash in 2013 when their chairman made controversial statements about traditional family values. But the real controversy should be about what is actually in their pasta. Marketing and branding should not distract from questionable ingredient sourcing and manufacturing practices. Barilla pasta typically costs $2 to $3 per box. You are paying premium prices for pasta that contains pesticide residues and heavy metals that cheaper brands do not have. That is not value. That is paying more to poison your family. Brand 2. Ronzone. Ronzone has been an American pantry staple for over 100 years. The brand markets itself as wholesome, traditional pasta that grandmothers would approve of. But modern Ronzone is owned by a massive conglomerate that cares more about profit margins than pasta quality. The company was sold to New World Pasta in 1999, which was then bought by Ebro Foods, a Spanish corporation. So this American classic is now controlled by foreign investors who have systematically reduced quality while maintaining the nostalgic branding Americans trust. American Classic, owned by foreign corporation Independent Testing, found that Ronzone pasta contains significant levels of deoxynivalenol, also known as vomitoxin. This is a mycotoxin produced by mold that grows on wheat. The United States allows higher levels of vomitoxin in food than most other developed countries. Regular consumption can cause nausea, vomiting, and immune system suppression. Former quality control employees report that Ronzone reduced their testing frequency to cut costs. Batches that would have been rejected under previous quality standards now make it to grocery store shelves. The company calculated that occasional customer complaints cost less than rigorous quality control. Quality control reduced to cut costs. Ronzone also uses enrichment processes that add synthetic vitamins back into pasta after industrial milling strips away natural nutrients. Those vitamins listed on the label, they are not from the wheat. They are chemical additives manufactured in laboratories and sprayed onto the pasta. Your body does not absorb synthetic vitamins as effectively as natural ones. The pasta itself is made from wheat grown with intensive pesticide use. Testing found multiple pesticide residues, including chlorpyrifos, which is banned in Europe due to neurotoxicity concerns. The chemical has been linked to developmental problems in children, but it is perfectly legal in American wheat fields. Pesticides banned in Europe, but legal here. Ronzone costs about $1.50 to $2.50 per box. Even at budget prices, you are getting pasta contaminated with mold toxins and pesticides that other countries refuse to allow in food. That is not a bargain. That is buying health problems. Brand 3. Mueller's pasta has been marketed as a quality American brand since 1867. The yellow and red packaging is instantly recognizable, but this heritage brand has been passed between corporate owners so many times that any connection to its quality roots has completely disappeared. Mueller's is currently owned by Treehouse Foods, a massive private label manufacturer. Treehouse makes store-brand products for dozens of retailers. Mueller's is essentially a rebranded generic pasta sold at higher prices based on name recognition alone. Rebranded generic sold at premium prices. Laboratory analysis found that Mueller's pasta contains high levels of acrylamide, a chemical that forms when starchy foods are processed at high temperatures. Acrylamide is classified as a probable human carcinogen. The levels found in some Mueller's products exceed what European food safety regulators consider acceptable. The company uses the cheapest possible wheat sources, which means higher pesticide exposure during growing. Testing detected residues of multiple herbicides and fungicides in Mueller's products. These chemicals work together in your body in ways scientists do not fully understand. The combination effects could be worse than individual chemicals alone. Multiple chemical residues in every box. Former employees report that Mueller's manufacturing facilities prioritize speed over quality. Production lines run faster than recommended to maximize output. This means less time for proper drying and quality checks. Pasta that should be rejected for quality defects gets packaged and shipped anyway. The enrichment vitamins added to Mueller's pasta are some of the cheapest synthetic versions available. Iron added to pasta is often metallic iron, literally tiny metal particles that your digestive system struggles to absorb. You would get better nutrition from eating actual iron filings. Mueller's also uses artificial coloring to make their pasta appear more golden and appetizing. These dyes serve no nutritional purpose. They exist only to manipulate your perception of quality. Some artificial food dyes have been linked to hyperactivity in children and other behavioral problems. Artificial dyes serve no purpose. At $1.50 to $2 per box, Mueller's seems affordable. But you are paying for artificially colored, pesticide-contaminated pasta made by a company that values speed over safety. That is not saving money. That is buying cheap ingredients with expensive health consequences. Brand 4, Great Value Walmart. Brand Walmart's Great Value pasta is the ultimate budget option. Priced at less than $1 per box, it seems like an unbeatable deal. But there is a reason it costs so little, and that reason should terrify you. Great Value pasta is manufactured by the lowest bidder. Walmart contracts with whoever can produce pasta at the absolute cheapest cost. Cheapest wheat. Fastest processing. Minimal quality control. Manufactured by the lowest bidder. Testing found that great value pasta contains some of the highest pesticide residue levels of any major brand. We are talking about detectable amounts of 8 to 12 different agricultural chemicals in a single box of pasta. The wheat comes from industrial megafarms that spray fields multiple times per growing season. Herbicides to kill weeds, fungicides to prevent mold, pesticides to kill insects, and glyphosate applied right before harvest. All of those chemicals end up in your pasta. 8 to 12 different chemicals per box. Great value pasta has been found to contain insect fragments and rodent hair at levels that approach legal limits. The FDA allows a certain amount of filth in processed foods. Great Value regularly tests right at those limits. The nutritional content is among the lowest tested. The wheat is so heavily processed that even aggressive synthetic enrichment cannot restore what was lost. Essentially refined starch with chemicals. At less than $1 per box, you are feeding your family the cheapest possible ingredients contaminated with pesticides and stored in conditions that allow pest contamination. Brand 5. Creamet. Creamet has been around since 1912 and markets itself as wholesome Midwest pasta. But Creamet is owned by Treehouse Foods, the same company that makes Mueller's. They are essentially the same pasta in different packaging. Same pasta as Mueller's, different boxes. Independent testing found mycotoxin contamination at levels that would trigger rejection in countries with stricter food safety standards. These mold toxins indicate poor quality control. Creamet also contains high levels of aluminum from processing equipment. Aluminum accumulates in the body over time and has been linked to neurological problems. Aluminum accumulation from processing. The wheat comes from conventional farms using heavy pesticide use. Testing found glyphosate, organophosphates, and other concerning chemicals. At $1.75 to $2.50 per box, Creamet costs more than generic brands but offers the same low quality. Paying extra for contaminated pasta. Brand 6, American Beauty. American Beauty is another Treehouse Foods brand. Yes, the same company owns Mueller's, Creamet, and American Beauty. Different packaging, same mediocre pasta. Third Treehouse brand, same problems. Testing found that American Beauty contains concerning levels of arsenic, a toxic heavy metal. The company uses wheat from regions where soil and water naturally contain higher arsenic levels. Arsenic levels in dangerous range American Beauty also failed tests for proper enrichment. The amounts of added vitamins did not match label claims. You are getting less nutrition than the label promises. The pasta is made using the cheapest possible semolina wheat, often the lowest grade available. At $2 to $3 per box, American Beauty charges premium prices for bottom-tier ingredients. Premium prices for bottom-tier ingredients. Brand 7, San Giorgio. San Giorgio pasta has been marketed as a quality Italian-American brand since 1914. The company emphasizes tradition, family, and wholesome ingredients. But modern San Giorgio is owned by Riviana Foods, which is owned by Ebro Foods, the same Spanish conglomerate that owns Ronzone. Sensing a pattern? These massive food corporations buy multiple heritage brands, reduce them all to the same low-quality standards, and sell them at different price points to capture maximum market share. San Giorgio, Ronzone, and several other brands are essentially identical products in different boxes. Testing found that San Giorgio contains some of the highest glyphosate residue levels detected in any pasta brand. We are talking about levels that approach the maximum legal limit. Your family is eating weed killer with every bowl of spaghetti. The company sources wheat from industrial farms that spray glyphosate on crops right before harvest as a drying agent. This practice, called desiccation, leaves maximum chemical residue on the grain that ends up in your food. It is legal but deeply concerning. Maximum weed killer in every bowl San Giorgio also tested positive for phthalates, chemicals that leach from plastic packaging into food. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors that interfere with hormone function. They have been linked to reproductive problems, developmental issues in children, and increased cancer risk. The plastic used in San Giorgio packaging appears to be lower quality than other brands. Testing found higher phthalate migration into the pasta itself. Every time you open a box, you are exposing your family to hormone-disrupting chemicals from the packaging. Former employees report that San Giorgio manufacturing facilities prioritize output over safety. Equipment is rarely cleaned thoroughly. Production quotas matter more than quality metrics. Worker safety is minimal, which usually correlates with poor food safety practices as well. Output prioritized over safety. At $2 to $3 per box, San Giorgio is priced as a quality product. But you are getting pasta with dangerous chemical residues, hormone-disrupting packaging contamination, and manufacturing practices that prioritize speed over safety. Brand 8. No Yolks. Let me end with a brand that markets itself as a healthier alternative. No Yolks emphasizes that their pasta contains no egg yolks, supposedly making it lower in cholesterol and better for heart health. This health halo marketing is dangerously misleading. No Yolks is owned by Riviana Foods, the same company that makes San Giorgio. So you already know quality is questionable. But No Yolks adds an extra layer of deception by targeting health-conscious consumers with misleading nutritional claims. Health claims are misleading. The pasta is made with egg whites instead of whole eggs. Sounds healthy until you learn that industrial egg white processing involves chemical treatments to extend a shelf life and prevent bacterial growth. Those chemicals end up in your pasta. Testing found that No Yolks contains aluminum sulfate and other processing chemicals at higher levels than traditional egg pasta. These chemicals are used to maintain texture and color in egg white pasta, but they add unnecessary chemical exposure to a product marketed as healthier. More processing chemicals than regular pasta. No Yolks also contains the same pesticide residues, glyphosate contamination, and quality control problems as other Riviana brands. The egg white substitution does not make it healthier when the base ingredients are still contaminated with agricultural chemicals. The cholesterol reduction benefit is minimal for most people. Dietary cholesterol has less impact on blood cholesterol than previously believed. You are accepting higher chemical exposure for a nutritional benefit that is largely outdated science. Former nutritionists say No Yolks represents a cynical marketing strategy. Take a cheap industrial product, make one minor change, market it as healthier, and charge premium prices. Consumers think they are making a healthy choice while actually getting more chemical contamination. Cynical marketing exploits health concerns. At $3 to $4 per box, No Yolks is among the most expensive pasta brands. You are paying premium prices for a product that contains more processing chemicals than regular pasta, offers minimal real health benefits, and comes from the same questionable manufacturing facilities as budget brands. The brands you can trust. After exposing all those problems, you are probably wondering what pasta you can actually buy. Here are brands that consistently test clean, use quality ingredients, and manufacture responsibly. Bio Naturae organic pasta uses certified organic durum wheat from Italy. No pesticides, no glyphosates, no chemical contamination. The pasta is bronze die-cut and slow-dried, preserving nutrition and creating better texture. It costs more, but you are paying for actual quality. Certified organic with no chemicals. Jovial pasta is another excellent organic option. The company tests every batch for glyphosate and heavy metals. They publish results online. Complete transparency. The pasta is made in Italy using traditional methods. Real quality ingredients processed correctly. Tinchiata brown rice pasta offers a gluten-free option that is actually healthy. Made from organic brown rice with no additives or fillers. The company tests rigorously for arsenic, a concern with rice. Products. Their levels are consistently below detection limits. For budget-conscious families, store-brand organic pasta from Whole Foods or Trader Joe's offers good quality at reasonable prices. Both retailers have strict supplier standards that exceed conventional brands. The common thread? These brands prioritize ingredients over marketing. They invest in quality sourcing and manufacturing instead of advertising. They charge fair prices for real value instead of premium prices for cheap ingredients and fancy packaging. Real value instead of fancy packaging. Conclusion: what this means for your family. The pasta aisle at your grocery store is filled with products that look wholesome and safe, but contain pesticide residues, heavy metal contamination, mold toxins, and processing chemicals that should not be in your food. Companies spend millions on marketing to convince you their products are quality. But laboratory testing tells a very different story. Marketing hides contamination. When you buy Barilla, Ronzone, Mueller's, Great Value, Creamette, American Beauty, San Giorgio, or No Yolks, you are feeding your family pasta contaminated with chemicals banned in other countries. You are accepting quality control standards so low that mold toxins and pest fragments make it into the final product. You are paying for brands that prioritize profit over your family's health. These are not small problems. Regular consumption of pesticide-contaminated food has been linked to increased cancer risk, hormonal disruption, and developmental problems in children. Heavy metal accumulation causes neurological damage and organ problems. Mold toxins suppress immune function and cause digestive issues. Regular consumption causes real harm. The average American family eats pasta 2 to 3 times per week. If that pasta contains glyphosate, cadmium, arsenic, aluminum, mycotoxins, and processing chemicals, you are exposing your family to cumulative toxin buildup. Week after week, month after month, year after year. The damage is slow but real, but here's what pasta companies do not want you to know. Clean, safe pasta exists. It is made by companies that prioritize ingredients and manufacturing quality. Yes, it costs more, but you are paying for food that will not poison your family. That is not expensive. That is basic value. Clean pasta exists at fair prices. When you switch from a $2 box of contaminated pasta to a $4 box of organic pasta, you are spending an extra $2 per meal. For a family of 4, that is 50 cents per person. 50 cents to avoid feeding your kids weed killer and heavy metals. That is the best 50 cents you will ever spend. If this video opened your eyes to what is really in the pasta you have been buying, hit that like button and subscribe. Because pasta companies are banking on you not reading labels, not asking questions, and not demanding better. We are here to give you the information these companies hope you never find. Companies hope you never find out. Check your pantry tonight. Look at the brands we exposed. If you have been buying any of these 8 pasta brands, it is time to make a change. Your family's health is worth more than saving $1 on contaminated food. What pasta brand have you been buying? Drop it in the comments below. Let us know if we exposed one of your regular purchases. Because when we share our experiences, we realize how many families are unknowingly feeding their kids contaminated food while trusting brands that do not deserve that trust.